and it gives me the information. So it's not just me passively using the tool. I'm using the tool to actually get smarter. Let's do a demo of Engramic, a shared intelligence platform. The goal here is that we perform certain knowledge tasks. We want to make that more efficient. So I've loaded a file. I can click on it and view it. And now that I have these files and pages, I can select a page and ask a question down here in the corner. I'm going to jump into a different file and perform a SIM analysis. All right, here's a SIM for a company that's up for sale. I'm going to start by doing select all. All of my pages are loaded, and I'm going to select a tool. In this case, it's the overview tool. I'll say provide me with an overview. Now this job is a little bit more difficult, and when you select a tool, it might have various amounts of reasoning that it might do for each task. This one's a little bit longer, so I'm going to speed this part of the video up, and if you want to, you can watch the counter down here in the bottom corner to see how much time this process takes. All right, about 45 seconds, not too bad for the amount of work that we got out of it. So what the overview does is it contains criteria for the fund investment thesis and checks the entire document against that and tells us whether or not it matches. The goal here is that we're doing a very quick first search to understand what we think about this company. Now that I have this, I can save it and it becomes an artifact here. If I close it, I can open it back up. It also becomes selectable, so now I can ask questions of the entire slide deck plus the overview. All right, I'm going to move into something different though, and I'm going to do a competitive analysis. All right, let's switch a different tool. We'll do market analysis, turn off the overview. This time I'm going to select internet search. Let's let this one run. All right, we have our market analysis. The market analysis knows to pull market information from both the slides, but also from web sources so that we can delineate what information comes from where. Finally, at the bottom, there may have been some information that was expected in the market analysis that it wasn't able to find, so it lists that below what's needed. Imagine I perform some of my other tasks, such as revenue model or validating some math, and now I'm ready to work on some diligence questions. So I'm going to select these two files, clear out the screen, and turn off web browsing, and ask it to generate diligence questions for my management meeting next week. I'm going to choose this first slide because it contains the names of the CEO, CFO, and head of operations, just for reference. Let's let this one run. Okay, now I have some diligence questions. Let's see how it did. So there are some questions on strategy and market position, financial performance projections, operations, customers and sales, competitive landscape and risk. Just to show you, I'm going to remove a section just to show you how editing works. I'm going to say remove the customer and sales section. Whatever the last artifact was that was loaded is considered to be submitted for the next response. So it's automatically included. And now I'm going to use this just to do some editing to get a new set of diligence questions that are more concise and removing the section that I asked it to remove. Let me let this finish. Okay, so you can see now we have our questions with that section removed. I have the old version here that I look at, and I have my new questions. Let's save these as an artifact for later. All right, a few more points on artifacts. Now that I have them here, I can save them as favorites, but not implemented yet. But in the future, it will be the ability to share artifacts with other peoples in my organization or view artifacts that were shared with me from other people who are also working on this same project. All right, the final task that I'm going to show now is a concept that I think is really important. We're not trying to replace associates and the work that they do. In fact, we want them to be knowledgeable and we want them to be able to achieve more in less time. So, some of the features that we've added, representative of this, is a test my knowledge section. It's one of the tools that will help us understand and learn how well we understand the sim that we just went over and reviewed. So I'm going to keep these two artifacts selected and ask it to test my knowledge. All right. Artifacts aren't just static, they can be dynamic as well. So this one is asking me some questions. I'm going to move through real quick and just select some answers. This is only from the information that we've selected. I could have done the same thing by selecting all slides and say, grade me. And, well, did I get any of them right? There we go. There's one that's right. And there's another one that's right. But it gives me the information so that I'm just not just passively using the tool, I'm also trying to learn and then evaluating my own abilities. All right, that's a demo. I hope you like it. There's a lot more to come. We only have a handful of tools in here, but I have, I picture that there'll be hundreds of here, and they'll be organized, and you'll be able to search them. All sorts of tasks that are something that we can automate, but not replace the individual who's doing the work. We're just trying to make them better. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy the demo.